So here we are. This is the. These are one of the hate marches. They are hate marches, clearly hate marches, and they're going on our streets. They're hate marches. There's someone just made a Nazi salute. I hope I've got that on. So this is a mob, basically. This is our new... So these are anti-Semitic marches, quite clearly. You're watching this, sir, are you? What do you make of all this?
I think it's good.
You think it's good? Why? What do you understand about the situation, sir? Not a lot.
No.
Like, do you understand the legal status of Israel and the West Bank and Gaza?
No, not
There you go, you see, and neither do some of these, yeah? But there's no police around, and so basically, I'm not going to whack out my Israeli flag. Right, you're one of the stewards, are you, sir? You're organising this. Can you tell me about why there is genocide going on then? Can you find someone to interview for somebody's willing to do an interview for my channel?
I'm sure I know.
Go on, can I ask a polite interview?
Absolutely.
Polite interview.
Absolutely fine.
I've come across this. It's quite an intimidating crowd.
I'd always be intimidated.
Oh, it's very intimidating. Are they coming down this way?
We're going to go down here and call Mother. Hang on.
No.
They're not going to be there, but we're going to finish in Broad Street, okay?
No. Seriously, I would like to do an interview with one of the people who are doing this because, if they're here doing an interview, I'll do an interview for my channel.
Yeah, so I'm also just keeping an eye and make sure everyone's safe. So, yeah, but we're going to...
But there's no police here.
No, there's not. There's got some people...
If I whack out my Israeli flag, I'm going to start a riot, aren't I?
Well, I would also look after you. I'm not here to take sides this time.
You're not here to take sides. So why are you here? Because you've got a flag.
I've got a badge and everything.
You got the badge and everything.
Yeah.
But some of these guys have been rank aggressive to me, and I don't think it's time for me to counter protest because I would like to give one of your leaders an interview about this because it is really interesting and it's really. I'll tell you. I'll give you. I'm recording because I'm a YouTuber. Okay. I'll tell you one thing for sure.
Yeah.
This country messed up this rubbish. This country messed up the whole region. We messed it up big time. We didn't mess it up small time. We messed up big time. But I respectfully disagree with what is going on here.
Okay.
And I would like to do an interview with someone who is organising this. It's a very simple question.
It is, and I said it again.
It's a very simple, polite and civilised...
There'll be some speakers, you can go up to them and talk to them.
Sure, yeah.
There's a simple question that you have trouble with.
Well, the simple question is I've given you an opener that this country messed up the entire region by promising two things to two sides. It's like if I said to you, you can have that building, and then when I go to somebody else, you can have that building. This country has blood on its hands. This country has absolute blood on its hands because we started this rubbish. But the trouble is, it was 70 years ago, and this is very intimidating. Because you know as well as I do that if I pull out my Israeli flag, I could start trouble.
You can.
Yes, and I'm not going to do that. Right. But I would like to speak to one of the speakers and interview about it because this is everybody wants peace in the Middle East.
Well, look, can I just intervene a little?
Yeah, sure.
So you're right, it has blood on its hands.
Yeah, no. This country. What I did not say, I said this country has blood on its hands.
So when
I can interview the pair of us together. I can camera. I mean, I can be off camera, on camera. I don't mind. The thing is that this is a very intimidating.
I understand, but you're not letting me say.
Yeah, sure. You can say what you like because this is a free speech. Go on, carry on.
So what I'm trying to say is, you're right with the first part. I don't disagree. This country's got blood on its hands.
Absolutely.
Whatever. But the second part, look, here's the border here. Here's the border here.
That was the British and the French.
Yeah, but when those were rightfully or wrongfully done, why is there this settler issue? Why is there this destruction issue?
You're asking me the question.
I'm asking you.
Right. Okay.
Or it's an open rhetorical question.
Do you remember Brexit?
Yeah.
Do you remember the North of Ireland?
Yeah.
You see, being
I
about
also remember the IRA.
yeah, exactly. So I am someone who let's get out the way of the fire pit again. I remember the troubles in Ireland, and the one thing Tony Blair did, which I wouldn't go round. Tony Blair would not be welcome here. What? Should we walk through to the? Because
I'm on duty handing waters and stuff.
Is what?
I'm on duty.
That's good. But the thing is, I have counter-protested you.
Yeah, sorry,
My name's James.
Right.
I have counter-protested you because what I object to is the river to the sea. What I object to is that you are calling for the destruction of a nation state, and that's not on.
When another state is being destroyed.
What's that?
When another state, Palestine, is being destroyed.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is that it is
and the people destroying it, should they not be held accountable?
Okay, can I refer you to the first opener, which is I cannot apologise for Lloyd George. I was not Lloyd George. Lloyd George was Prime Minister when the exactly.
Now the point is, let's all stop killing each other.
Well, okay, but then why will you not? If someone is going to be a speaker at this event, why is nobody going to condemn Hamas? Because Hamas are, as part of the problem.
Who created Hamas?
I believe that Hamas was created out of the Gaza Strip. There's Hamas, there's Fatah, there is a very...
I don't know how much background research you've done. Israel has admitted that they funded and got Hamas to where it was to liaise with them. Hamas has now turned the tables and reneged on their agreement with them. But it was Israel, and it's a fact thing, okay? It's not a made-up thing here. You can check it whenever you like. So there's lots of mistakes everywhere. All we're saying is stop killing. First of all, why won't Israel just stop do a ceasefire?
Right, if the IRA had taken, because the IRA never did this, the worst atrocity of the Troubles, which affect me deeply because I've got mixed heritage. I've got Catholic and Protestant heritage, so I'm split down the middle. Now you can't split me down the middle. Yeah, I'm sure these guys might. But what happened was basically
as the Israelis might if you were supporting.
Oh no! I mean, look! Can we cut to? Can we cut the shit here? I'm not saying that in 1946
what you just said was irrelevant.
What? No. What is relevant?
Nonsense.
No, it's just exactly. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry about the joke.
That's okay. Sorry.
But are you walking towards these guys, or
yeah.
So let's walk?
Yeah.
But no, seriously, what the core problem is what Lloyd George's government was doing in running round with Lawrence of Arabia. He was promising the Arab League, the Pan-Arab nationalist sovereignty, and then we did the Balfour Declaration.
110% agreement with you.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So,
and by the way, my wife is half Irish, half English.
Oh, there you go. So
my children, I know the thing.
No, I know.
And
so basically,
when I used to speak to her father, I can hear undertones of that. What you're saying?
Yeah, because and actually the only legacy of Tony Blair that is reasonably okay is that for whatever reason he brought peace to the north. However, there is a big problem looming there, which is you've got the unionist community. Yeah, it could really blow up if they ever went for unification. But you see, that it is all down to theocracies. So the thing is that I am pro-Israeli simply because I believe that it needs to be a functional state and it needs to have security. And at the moment, it has a group firing rockets into its territory. Now, how does the international community sort that out? Because it's still a problem for the international community.
That's a narrative.
Yeah.
Now look at the flip side narrative.
What?
The flip side narrative is there's an Israeli country bombing the living daylights out of a country on the basis of, they've been firing rockets. It's not even a situation of talking about a war. This is not war. Well, it's not even disproportionate. It's just ridiculously to turn around and go, Israel, Europe, America are on one side, and you've got the Palestinians on the other firing rockets. And why are they firing rockets? How did the settlers get there? What are they doing there?
The settlers were pulled out of Gaza unilaterally.
No. Are they out of there?
Well,
Is that what you're
they're
saying?
settlers in the West Bank. Okay, to give you
Why are they there in the first place?
what, the settlers?
Yeah.
Because you have
In foreign land.
you have the problem of the two territories under question. The international community is divided over what to do with them, and it doesn't. And
Forget the international community just for a second, George. I don't want to be.
I'm James. I said Lloyd George. That's the thing. It's like yeah.
It's the heat. Yeah.
Oh,
So-
you think this is hot? You've been here too long. You've
Sorry?
been here too long.
I have. I've
But
been here nearly all my life.
But the problem that this is creating is that the situation is not so simple as, say, what happened in Serbia, Croatia, and that was complicated because are you aware of the Krajina Serbs?
Yeah.
Right, they were kicked out of Serbia. Sorry, they were kicked out of Croatia,
Yeah, Croatia.
and what happened to them was terrible.
What's your views on Ukraine then?
I think that it is the legacy of, and I'm slightly off-piste here in terms of knowledge, but there is the Russians were an empire. I think that Putin wants
Deals were done.
What's that?
Deals were done. Treaties were signed.
Yeah.
Who broke them?
No, but the trouble is
broke
that
them?
you've got ethnic Russian
James,
nationals.
who broke the treaty?
Probably the Ukrainians. Russia did.
America did. They supplied them with the weapons.
America, should we walk please? I want to see, because America is they're not squeaky clean.
Well,
I mean, we're not talking about Snow White and the...
What are you going to do? You can go all the way to there?
I mean, you know why Saddam Hussein was in power, don't you? Because basically the Americans put him in power. You know why? I mean, the Americans are actually, they possibly get the title sneakier than us.
and who are in cahoots with America?
We are. Exactly. So the thing is that the sort of what my style of interviewing is that you have to. I'm asking you more questions because you see the creation of Israel was supported by the United Nations, but then United Nations, as you know, and I'm just being factual. So can I finish? I'm just being factual.
The creation of Israel has only happened because the Europeans were killing all the Jews. Europeans, the Germans, were killing all the Jews.
Listen,
So the
I
genocide,
concede.
was the Germans and the Austrians, and the Palestinians were nothing to do with that.
No, listen. I'm just trying to have a conversation and convince you guys that I don't hate you. Because far from it, because I'll tell you something else. You're correct again. In the Middle East, hi, how you doing?
How you doing, man?
What happened, I'm just talking to these guys,
Yeah, have a
how
good
we
one.
doing, is it? Right, what happened in Europe was the result of centuries of Roman Catholic anti-Semitism against the Jews. It is also a fact that there were Jews in the Ottoman Empire. Yeah? And this is your problem facing the victorious Allies in 1918. Because it took until 1922 to form the mandate, because discussions took place. Now, in the First World War, as you know, the Ottoman Empire is a subject of a lot of history, because by the time of the First World War, the Ottoman Empire had lost its power, lost its technology. They were still a very ferocious fighting force, as happened in the Treaty of Sèvres was never fully implemented. Yeah. So, for instance, originally the Allies tried to separate Istanbul from Turkey, and the Turks didn't have it. Yeah. So you had the issue of the absolutely horrific British. Yeah. Now, if I said this at the front of your rally, I could be getting cheers. The double-sided, hypocritical, evil, wicked, vicious, colonial British went to the Arab leaders and said, hey, you can have Palestine. Tally-ho, go and have Palestine. And then we said to the Zionists, which had already started, we said, you can have the territory too. Which is why my opening line to you, sir, was that if I owned this building there, I wouldn't be dressed as badly like this. But if I tried to select you and then tried to select this guy, we would have a property dispute. Now, the issue which this move...
That was done intentionally.
Yes, we do this. We did this shit. I mean, this is why I object to the moron down at Speaker's Corner called Bob. And I have called him a fascist to his face. Now, half of these guys wouldn't know what a fascist was if they basically... They wouldn't know a fascist if they basically, if they came up and they can't recognise it, because what is happening in the far right, and this is why I'm opposed to them, is that what they want to do is impose their culture on everybody else. If you scratch the surface, when you scratch the surface of these scumbags, they are anti-Semites, yeah? Now, what the problem with this thing is that I understand the pain, of the Arab peoples. But the root cause is Lloyd George and the Allied powers. But the thing is, they're all dead, sir, so I didn't catch your name.
Mahmoud.
Who?
Mahmoud.
Mahmoud.
Yeah.
Right. And so what has then happened is that usually to solve a problem, you have to go to the core. You don't go and basically... We've got to say, so yeah, can we just stop and let these guys through? Because I'm now on your march and I don't want to be on your march, so it's like... No, I'm just being polite. I'm just interviewing.
For me, what this march is about stop killing and start talking.
Yeah, okay, well that was tried, wasn't it?
No, but who's in very clear terms, who's stopping the conversation? The international community have all said, let's cease fire and start talking.
Is this okay in this conflict?
Only two, James, sorry, quickly. The only two countries who've got the power of the veto are
Britain
and
France
and
United States, Russia and China.
Right. So which two
So you've got
countries
when the international...
How can they veto a whole?
Because you're talking. Let's go this way. What happens is that then you're dealing with the
Why
issue.
do they keep vetoing it? Do you think?
Because if you read the mandate. And if you understand the geography and you understand the economics, which is why I brought up the topic of Brexit, I used to live in New Zealand. Yeah? Now, if you separated the South Island from the North, you would have an immediate problem and only a Kiwi could answer the question. So I'm going to answer it for you. It's a rhetorical question. What it would do would be to cut power off to the North, which is why the South Islanders always joke to the Aucklanders, look, behave or we'll cut your power off. Now, in the issue with Crimea, there was an issue of power and water, sir. The problem with the West Bank, or Judea and Samaria, as I prefer to call it, I don't think I'm going to shout that out too loudly here. What happens is that you've got a situation where it is part of the mandate, and that is why the Israelis claim it. And that, in a nutshell, is your problem.
So, in a nutshell, if that's their standpoint, why don't they ceasefire and sit down with the international community and go, look, we might be slightly biased in our opinion, the Palestinians might be slightly biased in their opinion. Can we look to the international community, which was set up, to go, we'll do a rounded view? And then the rounded majority vote says ceasefire. Why won't they agree to that? And why do they keep vetoing it?
Because the Americans are one of the 5 permanent members of the Security Council and have decided with us, and the policy of this country is to veto anything that would jeopardize the security of Israel. Because the thing is, to understand this, because I'm answering it, to understand that issue, you have to understand the 48 war.
Security of Israel.
Yes.
With their
Do you want to listen to your speakers?
Their military backup.
Let's go around this way. Come on. No, because it's
their military backup, their support from America,
yeah, they're armed to the teeth.
From Europe, their support from whatever, and they're concerned about their security. James,
yes, they are.
Get a life, mate. Come on, look at the facts. Look at the facts. You got 20 people behind you, and I'm on my own. Does that then mean you can veto it just because you can, and you're worried about your security?
Well, I'll give you.
You just put a line of people across there and go, make one move, and the international community will sort you out.
Right? Are you aware that Hamas is a prescribed organisation in this country?
What do you mean prescribed?
Well, for instance, if you told me you supported Hamas, that could be construed as a criminal act. Now, I'm giving you my word that if you said, I support Hamas, I'm not going to go to the police with it.
I wouldn't give them monkeys, James.
No, I don't give them. Let's go and listen. I want to listen to this.
On these rallies for when Tony Benn was about.
Is where?
You remember Tony Benn and the old left-wing Labour?
I actually do, but only because I was a kid.
Well, I wasn't far off a kid.
Yeah.
And so I've been going around to marches against the environment.
Oh yeah.
I'm going on marches against Black Lives Matter situation. I'm going on marches
to support the Black Lives. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
We sat cross-legged down the road to here and did the marches with the other towns. The point is, where it's right, support it. Where it's wrong, call it out.
Exactly, which is what I'm doing.
Well,
now it was wrong, but do you not agree that taking hostages and putting them in civilian areas and firing, I mean, my father remembers the war.
That's a terrible thing.
No. My father.
Because
can I finish?
The hostages. It's a very important thing.
Go on.
The hostages. So, Hamas and Palestine are taking hostages, but wait a minute, Israel are taking prisoners. It's all about narrative, James.
Absolutely.
It's all about narrative. Oh, they're taking prisoners, so let's not talk about that.
So there is...
If this was the other way round, on all the Western news, it would be on every day.
What about the atrocities? I mean, we're going... I want to keep the subject, the interest...
They're not squeaky clean, by the way.
Who?
I'm not defending Hamas or any actions to do with whatever. I'm all lives matter.
So am I.
So,
which is why I find
killing.
Yes, but the thing is that you also have a very you have probably the most controversial president who's ever been president of the United States. I mean, my own comedy is, never put a real estate agent in charge of anything. And the trouble is that poor old Donald, he just thinks of the world in terms of how many hotels can I build.
I think he's just been put there at the stooge.
Well, maybe he has. I mean, we can talk about that to all we like. But the problem sort of comes when you've got his vision for Gaza has gone down like a cup of cold sick.
This isn't a new vision.
It is. Oh, probably not.
It's not a new vision.
But you see, the thing is that if you go to one of my most memorable holidays was my COVID trip to Egypt.
Right.
And the really good thing was because the really really good thing is that there is no. Should we just stop here? Yeah. But what the issue is that the. I forgot what I was saying. With Trump is that he's got this kind of like simplistic view of the world, and you've also got the fact that Gaza, under different jurisdiction, could actually be a very successful entity, and that's how he thinks. He's a businessman.
James, talking about Trump is a distraction.
He's proposed a peace deal.
He's a muppet and a puppet.
Yeah.
He's only put there because he's opposed to it. Okay? I know how politics works in essence. Okay? You know how politics works.
Yeah.
When we want to achieve a goal, we create the agenda to achieve the goal.
Yeah.
And the British are the best at it. And the Americans are learning about it now.
Yeah, because we were doing. Yeah, but the thing is, I've already said the stuff we've done.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's not sort of like
The Zionists are now at the top of the table, and they're
at the top of the table in Israel for sure. Absolutely sure.
Yeah. Have a look at all the decisions made in Europe. Have a look at all the decisions made in America, and perhaps.
I'm autistic, by the way, so I remember, but I've got photographic memory.
Okay.
The really interesting thing you say is that there was more genocide against the Jews in Europe than there was ever in the Middle East, but there were genocides against the Jews in the Middle East. That's the issue. Absolutely. Is that these must come in. Yeah, but the stop to it is how do you? What you're now saying is that there's got to be a. If I went up to this crowd and said, "What's your solution?" they will just chant "River to the Sea" at me, and they won't tell you how that looks. You see, if you're moving from the then to the what do you do now, you're talking about 100 years. It's 2025, not 1925.
Well, what's the first step? What was the United Nations created for? What's the first step?
To keep world peace and to stop countries attacking each other.
So they turn around and they go, James, sit yourself down. Matthew, sit yourself down. Any one of you move, we're going to deal with you. Now you're sitting down, let's start the discussions.
So what do you want to sit? What about Clinton then?
No, I'm talking about...
What do you think Clinton did?
Sorry?
Clinton did that.
I don't think so.
Sure.
See,
do you want to reference what Hillary said? Now, Hillary was basically worked very closely with Bill.
Politicians
they were a political duo, and in the case of Clinton, he was actually the guy calling the shots. Now, George Bush II was definitely a muppet. He was Cheney was the president. Yeah, everybody knows that. Now, George Bush I was the president, Reagan was the president, and although Reagan had a strong team around him, Reagan was the spokesperson for Milton Friedman, and Carter was the president. Both Carter and Clinton tried to sort this out, and the peace with Egypt was a major plus. But I think that one of the things I would like to learn more about and engage with your community is what on earth happened when I know that there was negotiations between Egypt and Israel over the Sinai, because if we were in 1978, Israel would have the Sinai. Now the Sinai is a lovely part of the world. You know, I didn't feel unsafe. There was some beaches. It was brilliant. You could have a beer. I don't drink. It was an absolutely lovely place. Now, but that used to be under Israeli control. And you see, the colonial issue with Britain is that we didn't want a hostile power near the Suez Canal. That's what this is all about. You know this. You're an intelligent man. Now, the problem you've got now is that there's been colonial interference. There has been a League of Nations agree a mandate designating it as a Jewish homeland. Now, I'm putting my hand against my head and I'm going like, okay, that was the decision, the clear decision of the international community at the time. Now, this has already been done. Now, there is an interview with Hillary Clinton, which I can find for you and put on my channel, where she says that Yasser Arafat deeply wanted peace, but he said, if I agree to this, I'm going to be killed. And she's put that in an interview. And this is the problem. You had Yitzhak Rabin, tried to make peace, ended up dead.
See, you've now got into the heart of the problem.
Correct.
Okay?
Which is why, do you at least, I'm not going to, I really don't think it's a good day to pull I've got 2 Israeli flags in mine, I think I need to keep that one a bit on the low. I don't think that's the right time to do this, because I don't want to offend anyone.
If you had a Jewish flag, I would put you on my shoulders and stand you there. Israel now has to take responsibility, and the flag means they represent what Israel is doing.
I think that the thing is that
why are the Israelis protesting now in Israel?
Because there are a sizable group of Israelis who do not agree with what Bibi is doing.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm saying. The thing is,
so it comes back to my final point, which I started at the beginning.
Yeah.
That is, let's stop the fighting and force everybody to sit down. And secondly, that will stop the killing.
Can I quote Keir Starmer? Release the sausages. No, I mean seriously. I mean he is in a. And again,
Yeah.
I'm actually going to say something positive about Keir Starmer that you won't like.
Right.
I'm not Labour, but on this issue, he is acting in statesman-like condition, because the problem is the hostages. The hostages need to be released now.
Right. And
And
he said
then-
that to Israel.
Well, again, my father.
That's my problem with Starmer.
The problem.
That's
The
my
problem.
problem with
The
Starmer.
problem. The problem I have
He
is that.
said, you will send out a peace force. We want all the prisoners out from both.
Oh, I think there needs to be peace negotiations for sure. There needs to be a ceasefire for
No,
sure.
you mentioned Starmer's got this point saying nothing can happen until the hostages are released.
Yeah, I think he's right.
What if he says that to Israel? Isn't
Israel
that fair?
doesn't. I mean, the thing is, then you've got the whole issue: is it political prisoners? Then you have to negotiate. Then you have to sort of like the situation as it is now.
So now the situation is they're political prisoners, but Hamas has got hostages. I have a problem with that.
No, he was
You
trying to
can't flip this way, that way.
No,
The
I'm not.
reason for them-
I'm not flipping. But the problem you have is that you've got you have got a issue with the fact that if Israel has detained people, and they haven't detained people without charge, which
Look how
again is.
soft your language is. Do you know what's happening to these people? We check out on YouTube or wherever. I am not on the social media about some of the conditions these people are living in and what they're having to put up with. They're not detained, James. Okay, it's horrific.
Oh yeah, it's horrific.
What we need to do, once again, is the United Nations needs to turn around and go, right, America, you got the veto, we're not interested. Why is South Africa such a strong supporter of the peace deals or stopping
I'll answer that. You want? I
Why
think-
is Ireland, ROI, so in favour of, listen, enough already, too many people being killed, stop.
I'll
Then
answer,
let's talk.
I'll answer from the Irish government then. I think that the Irish are a country which was violated by England from the time of Cromwell. Cromwell dumped a load of Presbyterian Scots in the north, the rest is history.
Yeah.
I think that they understand that you need to have a peace, and I think that in this situation there is something that needs to really, something has to give somewhere. However, the line I keep coming back to is that the Charter of Hamas is calling for the destruction of the State of Israel, and the sticking point is recognition. And you know
But
that.
what's the Charter of Israel?
The Charter of Israel is that it is a Jewish state and that they will respect minorities. If I mean, I would love
Let's leave it at that.
I would love
Let's
to talk,
leave it
I
at
would love, sir, to talk about this further with anyone here, because I can understand.
And you're
I can
following a
cert-
really good path, by the way. Because
Thank you.
through discussion and communication, even if your viewpoint is totally opposing mine, it doesn't matter. We're having a conversation.
But you are the first person from this movement who is willing to have a conversation, and then because I'm not Jewish.
Yeah, I'm not riled up.
No, good.
I'm trying to look at it and go, right is right, wrong is wrong.
Have a thing of water, please.
Killing of people.
All this talk's too much, man. No, it is talking that
I don't
has
care
to.
who they are, where they're from, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's Eastern Europe, whether it's in China, whether it's in wherever it is, killing of people should and must stop, and the international community must be allowed to
My
go,
father remembers
"Let's
the
vote."
war. My father remembers the war.
Yeah.
My father remembers the war. During the war, we came really close. We came really close to Hitler destroying all of Europe and almost committing, and he was committing genocide.
Absolutely.
So, my father remembers the doodlebugs. Now, the doodlebugs would they doodle about, and if they ran out of fuel, run. And then came the V2 rocket. They were a little bit more scary. Now, can you imagine Hitler with nukes? Not good. Now, what the problem is militarily is that, and this is a matter for the international community, if you go conducting military operations from a building, it becomes a military target. That is military law 101.
Yeah.
And that's your problem. That's the problem in the Gaza Strip.
Okay. So, whatever Israel is doing to the Palestinians, with the settlements, with the killings, with what they're doing to the children and cutting off water supplies and electric and hospitals, bombing hospitals and all this, that doesn't even come close.
Well, then what do you think of Trump's plan? And I'm taking...
I'm tired of that. I told you, he's nothing.
He's not nothing. He's president of the United States. So who's in charge of America then? Who's in charge of America?
Sort of slightly, perhaps younger than...
Yeah.
Yeah. You know...
Slightly, yeah. Only slightly.
Have you watched Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Did you watch the one? Did you watch the one where he got? I want the Israeli ambassador, and the Israeli ambassador says they crossed the Rhine. Are you going to use the nukes? They're at the channel. They're going to. So basically, he almost obliterated. That episode was a walking campaign for CND. And if you remember that, so that's actually quite funny. But the thing is with this one is it is a more intricate.
But more importantly, it's showing insight into how these things are run.
Exactly.
The minister, then the prime minister is going, oh, and the people around him are going, yes, but you need to do this. And if you don't, I'm afraid there's going to be a few issues here.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by.
It was like when Humphrey Bogart would check him, and I need some humour at the moment because I do not want any kind of discord with people here. But the issue as I see it from a relative neutral and someone who sees through the BS of this country is that I do not stand really anywhere. I mean, I'll go to the park tomorrow and I've got dirt on the far right. I've got serious dirt on the far right. And I am going to throw it on them at precisely the right time. And what they are doing is they're almost like kind of, they're like throwbacks from the 1920s. They're sort of like, they're budding little Mussolinis, but they're never going to get anywhere. It's quite funny, really.
My parting message to you, because I better go and distribute these waters.
Sure, because there'll be people.
What you're doing is the right thing.
Okay.
Engage.
Thank you.
Listen to what others are saying.
Yeah.
Let them
You've
listen
done
to
most
what
of
you
the
have to
talking,
say.
yeah. I don't think I'm going to get my Israeli flag out.
You've done that one. James, it's been a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too.
You take care of yourself.
You take care of you. Yeah, God bless you too. Yeah, lovely. Yeah. May you know the Lord Jesus Christ as well.
Amen.
Amen. Are you a Christian?
I'm a Judeo-Christian Muslim.
Bloody hell.
We are one scripture, but we've lost our way.
It's an interesting conversation. I would love to talk. I would love to talk to you further. I'm always around Oxford.
Cool, I don't get knocked over.
Anyone else want? Anyone else? You ask anyone who wants to do an interview with me. I'll do it. I'll interview anyone on that stage. Anyone. I'm good. Oh, no bikes?
No bikes up here, please. Thank you.
Oh shit,
You need
sorry.
to use the bike stands or not.
Okay,
Not
okay, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
There's bloody police here, so I better do as I'm told. Yeah. Hi. So, officer, I'm a YouTuber. And I'm an idiot. And guess what I carry around with me to show my viewers? I always reckon that everyone should carry an Israeli flag with them.
Fair enough.
Now you seem like a fairly fair dinkum copper. If I whack my Israeli flag out right now, what are you going to do?
Depends what you plan on doing with it.
Well, flying it. That's just made your day, isn't it? Now I'm not feeling in the mood.
Nor am I, mate. It's been nice and chill, so.
But if I did, what would happen?
We'd have to respond in some way. You're allowed to protest too, so.
Well, exactly. This is the problem. I'm just going around interviewing people. Hi, I'm here to interview on a YouTube channel. Anyone want to talk? I am quite willing to talk, yeah? No? Okay. Anyone want to talk about this issue for a YouTube channel? Anyone want to do an interview for a YouTube channel? No? Anyone want to do an interview on this subject? Yeah? No, you see what, what's going on? It's like, that's the thing.
It'll be very important.
Any of you want to do an interview?
No way.
No way. Okay, that's a really interesting conversation. I've had a really nice conversation with one of your. I've met you before, haven't I? The camera's on me.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I just want to talk to people about these issues because I've had a very nice chat with a gentleman.
Thank you.
And my opening line is that I am very, very, very distressed to see this because this is a result of British government decisions made in the 1910s.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel that that is the problem and is the starting point for a conversation. But I am pro-Israel.
What?
Yes, I am.
Were you pro-genocide?
No, I'm not pro-genocide.
Yeah, you are.
Because I'm interviewing people.
Because you're an Islamophobe.
I'm not an Islamophobe. I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm
You're
not.
Islamophobic to me. You've been Islamophobic.
I haven't been
to others.
Islamophobic
Yes,
to you.
have.
Give me an example
Yes, you
then.
have.
Give me an example.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe when you were saying that my whole religion was to kill everyone.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, you did. But we'll move.
I said
right? You keep
explain
coming to
explain
What's
9:30.
good?
No, I've had a very There's a guy
There is a
guy calling.
Aggravating people.
I'm not aggravating
Don't you
people.
feel embarrassed of yourself?
No, I'm
no
not.
one listens to you.
No, I'm not.
You look embarrassed.
I've had a very nice conversation.
No, you don't.
I'm not embarrassed.
Oh, you should be. Well, you should be because you're supporting.
Do you want to do an interview?
I'm just telling you right now.
Why should I be embarrassed?
Because you support genocide.
No, I don't
Yes,
support
well,
genocide.
You do.
I don't support genocide.
Are you happy with the killings?
Colonialism.
It's a war.
No. Do you support this?
Hostages have been taken illegally.
Excuse me.
For 76 years,
There's not a war here.
prisoners and hostages have been taken by the Zionists in Palestine.
Excuse me. Do you know the history about this war?
Right, okay.
When did it start?
Right, the
When did
war,
it start?
this problem started when the British and the French and the Americans, but the British certainly decided during the war, the British and the French, the Americans.
What right do the British
Can
have
I finish? Because you asked me a question, I will give you an honest answer.
Yeah, but faster.
Because I will tell you why this is here.
Continue.
What this corrupt, disgusting country does is we were rocking round the Middle East, Lawrence of Arabia, you had Lloyd George, and that's a lovely building there. Do you agree with me?
I don't care about the building.
No, it's a lovely bit of land. And what we did was the Ottoman Empire was on the losing side of the war, and we knew it. And what we did, because we are double-sided, is we promised the land to both the Arabs and the Zionists, and that is the starting point of this problem. But, pardon me?
What right do they have to do?
Right, but you see, then there is also a secondary problem from that, and this is the problem you guys have.
Okay.
Can I finish? I'm explaining why I support the state of Israel, and I'm hoping I could get my Israeli flag out. I'm choosing not to.
Well, I don't.
Because I think because I don't. I'm actually choosing not to. No, I understand, but because what I'm doing is trying to connect, and I'm trying to discuss what happened after the First World War. Now I'm dealing in facts here. Is that the winning powers, who were America, Britain, France, primarily. The Americans never joined the League of Nations, which was a big problem in history. I can tell you're an intelligent woman, very intelligent. Can I just ask something? Are you upset with this protest? I'm just chatting to people because I'm interested in this particular issue, because what this country did was disgraceful. Now, what we then did.
We all know the history. We're educated.
No, because the history is then distorted by both sides.
It's not distorted at all, because if you know truly the history, it's that in 1948, the Israelis they displaced.
Can I put the camera on you? Do I keep it on me? That's fine. Yeah.
They displaced 700,000 Palestinians.
That's disputed.
How? Please elaborate.
We can dispute everything.
But, no.
The problem is you're not willing to.
I am engaging.
Accept and hear and acknowledge
Right,
and appreciate
okay.
the
The
truth.
United Nations created this law that they couldn't invade Palestine's land, yet they did. They displaced 700,000.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
They displaced 700,000 Palestinians.
That is disputed
How?
by both sides.
But everything is disputed.
Right. Some people say 780,000.
Can I answer the question? Can I answer?
Even if it's less than that, it doesn't matter.
Right. Okay.
Every life matters.
What? The thing is, when you say it starts in 48, I'm saying no. It started.
It starts before.
Oh, it starts long before.
It starts before, but the
You see, if you go to the
occurred in 1948.
Right, if you go to the racists at Speaker's Corner, who I am trying to stand up to, because I am trying to bust the far right. I want them gone. He is a nasty piece of work. I don't like him. No, right. I'm just going to explain.
Yeah, because you say
What
you're going to
happened? Can I tell you? I'm very rational. I'm very intelligent. What happened? What then happened? You need to read the history.
I have.
Right, good. Okay. Are you a student here at Oxford?
No.
Right, okay. But when you study history, the first thing you need to get are sources.
I have.
Right. Now, the sources who are Arab do admit that you can't go to 48, you need to go to 46 and 36. What happened was that when the immigration came in from Europe, when the Jews started buying land,
I'm sorry, are you recording?
I'm recording me. I'm not putting you. The camera's on me. Yeah. I'll just show you. That's me. I'm on the camera. No. And what happened was that I told you the core thing. My heart can bleed for these people. I don't like to see people getting killed. And the problem is what the British did, which we always do. Now, I'm part Irish, and that's why Ireland is very pro trying to sort this whole matter out.
Palestine.
Correct. But the thing is that to understand this is not as simple as just, okay, we'll either have Israel, we'll have Palestine. It's way more complicated than that. And what you are doing is you are saying, okay, there was a civil war. What then happened was that people went and there was a civil war. Then we left. Now, there is an historical source which I will quote. The British left the keys
They are killing children and women now.
But that is not intentional.
It is intentional. It is intentional. They don't
Are you
want
serious
them
right
to
now?
be-
I'm serious.
No, no,
Have
no,
you
no,
seen
no.
the video of
They don't want these
a
children to
father
be
encouraging
adults.
his son to throw stones at an IDF soldier?
Oh, sorry.
Do you know what the IDF soldier does? They put the high five and send the kid
Oh,
away.
come
Are you aware that the IDF has called residents of a building before they destroy it? You don't want to talk about the facts. You don't want to talk about
I
it.
don't know where you get that information.
No, it's on the BBC. Do you think the BBC is... I'm recording myself. I'm not talking about myself. I can't stand this country. Anyone else want to do an interview? You're here for a cause. Reform UK is a racist party. How can you say that, sir? How can you say Reform UK is a racist party? Let's have a discussion here. You're not going to discuss it. So you've got a leaflet saying Reform UK is a racist party. You're talking about my MP. It's my MP, and you're calling him a racist. Evidence-based.
Well, it's their opinion. They can call it what they want.
Well, I mean, I could tell you that the world is flat if I felt like it, but I'd look an idiot. I'm asking you, can you cite Farage on racism? Tell me something he said that's racist. You got phones? Look it up. Please find it.
Not talking to you, mate.
Counting one.
You're baiting.
Counting two.
You're baiting.
Counting three. You're cooked.
Racist baiting.
You are
like
cooked.
45 when you're saying cooked.
You're cooked.
Let Allah make
That's a debating
Bro
term.
just said you're cooked and you're 45 or 50. I don't know what.
Yeah, well, thanks.
You're looking back.
Hi, sir. Do you want to talk about the issues? Because I want to find peace here. I want to see peace in this region, and I come here to condemn what the British government did in 1916. I condemn it. I condemn it, sir, because I can see the pain in your eyes. I can see the anger. But what we did was we promised this territory to two sides. That does not work. Would you agree with that? I'm asking you a question you can't say no to. I'm willing to have a conversation because I don't want...
We're listening.
Are you not going to talk to
all of them.
I know. I saw
No, I'm coming to talk. I'm not coming to counter-protest. I'm just interviewing. So where? I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist. That's slander, mate. That's slander. That is slander. You are a slanderer. I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist. How dare you call me a racist? You are a racist.
You were racist to me.
I'd like to talk to this guy. He's come out to talk to me. I'll talk to him. I'm not anti-Arab. Not at all. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You are a bigot because you are telling me what I think.
16-year-old a bigot. Good for you.
I'm not a bigot.
Well, go on. Yeah.
I'm not a bigot. You are because you're calling me racist and I'm not racist.
Good for you, mate. 50 years old coming out here.
I asked him to explain a verse in the Quran.
Mate. No, you want to listen. Keep it down.
What's the problem?
Is what?
What's the problem?
The problem is that I support the state of Israel and I think there has to be peace in the region.
Yes, I think everybody thinks that too.
I think everyone does think that. But the trouble is that people are coming here. I've had a lovely conversation with somebody. I am not unsympathetic to the demonstration. I am not unsympathetic given the fact that people are dying in a war. But the kind of rhetoric which is going on is actually highly divisive and people are feeling intimidated.
Well, I don't think that's the intention.
Do you want to step a little bit aside because people are listening? I want to be respectful. You see, I'll keep the camera on me, but what you're saying is that these chants are, you're saying there's apartheid, that's wrong. You are saying river to the sea, that is genocidal. And you are basically coming out with slogans where the situation is a lot more complicated. When you have a war, you will have two sides, and the problem...
Mate, why don't you go and do one? Nobody wants to hear you.
That's just really nice. I'm having a conversation. Do you want to have a conversation with me?
We'll go across the road.
Okay, let's go across the road then. Bye-bye, here we go. Right, so...
Did you hear the doctor from Gaza speaking just now?
No. I'm sure someone's videoed this. Is someone videoing this? Someone will be videoing this. What? So what? Should we go up here somewhere else? So what's the doctor from Gaza said?
Just explaining about all the children who he's seen die from airstrikes.
Which is terrible.
Which is terrible. And you agree with that?
Right, what if, what is happening is that the people in Gaza, Hamas, which is a prescribed terrorist organisation, has no right to launch rockets indiscriminately into Israel. And if the Israelis believe that there is a rocket launcher somewhere, they are entitled to bomb it, and that is a terribly sad fact.
Well, I'm sorry to say this, but I have also been to Palestine. I train teachers for a living.
You seem a very nice person, and I think people who are misinformed, and some of the nonsense I've heard from people today, I feel intimidated now after what was happening over there, is that this is not a simple problem. This is not kind of like, someone's just taken our land. It's not like I've sort of,
Well, it is a complicated problem.
very complicated, caused by this country.
Caused by this country to a large extent, yes.
No, to a total extent.
But what hasn't been caused by this
Is where?
country? What hasn't been caused? I agree with you about the whole thing.
There we go.
But what hasn't been caused by this country is the corralling of people into Gaza. Into Gaza, and then
What word did you use?
Corralling.
What you mean, sort of, they got pushed into there?
Yes, because they left their homeland and they were not allowed to return.
You mean the right to return of the 48 war?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so you understand.
That's how they came to be in Gaza. And certainly I've trained teachers in Gaza, and this was 20 years ago. And when I went in, I could go in, but those people I trained could not go out. It was like a prison camp, even then. So for me, it's not surprising. I mean, I would never condone what happened 18 months ago.
Okay.
But I wouldn't condone either the way that Palestinians have been treated for the last 70 years.
Well, you see, the argument against that goes back to the chain of events caused when the British, I seem a bit more anti-British than you. The British went round promising the Arabs the land, and we also promised the Zionists the land. Well, no, you see, this is a major point of dispute. No, they lived there, and so what the problem was the territory's administration. Now, the issue was that the territory was set up, with the mission of being a homeland for the Jewish people. That's a fact. That's the charter. That is the charter of the mandate.
The British have no right to give
but it wasn't. You see, the trouble is, and where we get off the hook, because I blame Britain for this. Listen.
Now is the time.
No, now is the time. No, but the problem left is that the international community decided in 22 to set up the mandate. The international community in 1949 chose to recognise the state of Israel, but the issue of the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, which is Judea and Samaria, are actually disputed under international law because of the mandate. It's a complex issue.
Indeed,
now, what I was going to
I have read the history of the area.
Yeah.
What I would say to you, though, is that the people who have come here to protest about what the Israeli government, not the Jews, the Israeli government under Netanyahu are doing in Gaza and the West Bank. And I think they have a right, and I have a right as well, having been there and seen the way people are treated there, to protest against it. And I don't think it helps when we have arguments with each other. I'm
here to have a discussion. You see, the thing is, there was a war between Serbia and Croatia.
Well, indeed, and I'm
there were people.
To the speeches. Yeah, I mean, I was listening to speeches.
Well, is it on video? Will he be able to?
My job as a steward is to try to keep the peace and try to.
Well, that's the cops. I've just told the cops I've got 2 Israeli flags in my bag, and they have gone, oh crap. And I'm actually deciding that I'm not going to do that. Maybe.
Well, it's your opinion.
I actually have decided that I don't want to. I've actually decided I don't want to antagonise, but I do have the balls to do it.
I'm not questioning.
And I also know that there is an historical fact of the recognition of the State of Israel, the creation of the State of Israel, the creation of the mandate, and I believe, and this is the other objection I have to the cause, which the international community needs to get ahead on. You can quote historical sources, but if you are quoting historical sources from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you find that the Gazans and the people on the West Bank are referred to as Arab, which they are. And the problem, which the British did, was we had. Can I please finish?
Use my image in any way, because I know you're recording. Use my image in any way.
I'll fuzz it.
Yeah, you have to legally, because obviously I'm underage.
Okay. Are you underage? Okay.
Yeah, I'm 16.
Okay, all right.
So if you use my voice or use my image,
I'll have to get that done then. So it could be a while.
You just legally, I know you can't use that.
I'll just have to cut it then.
Exactly.
I'm recording on my phone. I'm not live streaming.
I know exactly. That's what I'm saying.
If I'm live streaming though, and you get caught, I will politely acquiesce for your requests. Yeah.
Legally, you can't.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
You know, there were certain people who did the same.
That's fine. But I mean, it's just like it's sort of like a. I'll check the law out. I believe that if you are actually involved in this protest, and I have got the right to cover it.
At the end of the day, I'm underage.
Just about. Can I finish my point? One of the problems is that the British restricted Jewish migration into the territory, but allowed unfettered Arab migration into the territory. You see, the problem with this.
Already lived there.
No, they didn't all already live there.
They were expelled.
No, there are two. You are giving, Mom. You are older than me, so I'm calling you Mom because I lived in India. Right. What happened was that the Zionist movement dates back to the 18th century. Sorry, the 19th century, the 1800s. And what happened was that because of the weakness of the Ottomans, the Zionists started buying land from Ottoman landlords. So it was legitimately bought. Now, point number two, and this is irrefutable. In the Mandate period, the British allowed commerce to take place, so the land bought by the Jews was legally bought. Issue number 3 is that many people outside of the Mandate who were Arab came to settle in there. So, what you then had was a huge problem because the British mismanaged the Mandate. So there is talk on both sides there. And then, because of the British decision, there was a civil war. There was a civil war between the Jews and the Arabs, which we took sides in the Arab revolt. We were brutal, the British. So again, I would apologise to any of these people, and I would disassociate from what the British did during the Arab revolt, for instance.
So I can't really see that there is a huge difference between what and that.
There's not. I'm not here to say, okay, it's okay. I am not going to turn round, and nobody is saying that it is okay that if innocent people get killed. But if I had my child with me today, and I started a riot, which I could do if I whack an Israeli flag out, then I'm putting my child at risk. What is happening in these hospitals, and this has been found, and I think the Israelis are making a big mistake in not allowing independent journalists in, is that when they've gone to these hospitals, they've got Kalashnikovs, grenades, rocket launchers. It's a military activity, and this is your problem. So my position is that the hostages should be released, and that you do not give in to terrorists. And that's exactly what Mrs. Thatcher would have said.
To let you know, 1948, we gave into terrorism and allowed the creation of the State of Israel. So before you use that argument...
Who's we? The British or the international community?
The British.
The British have behaved disgracefully. Absolutely disgracefully. Okay, very peaceful. They've been trying to get at me. They've been trying to go at me, but it's relatively peaceful. A guy has basically come up to me and said that if I've captured film of him as a minor, that I have to not show it on my channel. What's the law? Shouldn't really. It's unethical rather than.
It might potentially, if the person does complain, YouTube itself might take the video down.
Yeah, I mean, I'll fuzz his face then. I mean, he is clearly one of the leaders here. He's also called me racist, which I think is wrong. And the other thing which I would say to you guys, because I know you're only like you're part of the cog, is if anyone says anything pro-Hamas there, then you should arrest them. Because Hamas is a prescribed organisation under the Home Secretariat of, what's her name, Preeti Patel, but that's now being challenged in the European courts, you know what I mean? But you poor guys get it in the... Oh God, Yvette Cooper. Oh, flip, she's a pain in the arse. Fly past with the flag, is that all right?
No, I'd rather you didn't.
You'd rather I didn't. That's quote of the day, mate. Quote of the day. Quote of the day from the copper. He would rather I didn't whack past by Israeli flag. Well, who?
So all I say to you is, before you go to bed tonight, say a special prayer for the people.
So this guy's up on the...
And every night pray for them. And hope for them.
Sounds very peaceful.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
Anyone want to do an interview? Anyone want to do an interview?
Which channel?
Interview.
It's Grace 558 at the moment. I'm going to change. No. I'm a YouTuber. I'm just wanting to interview you. You can talk about your cause. I will ask you questions.
Just look up your channel. Which channel? Which question?
It's called Grace 558. Well, I do not support a ceasefire, but I do support a peace process.
You don't support a ceasefire?
Well, I think the first thing is that Hamas need to. I am recording myself. Okay, that's fine enough. I'm recording myself.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that there needs to be peace in the situation because people are dying. I'll also give you my opening line.
Go for it.
Is that I think that I was actually just while I saw you, I'm seeing this sign "Smash the far right." I've got dirt on the far right, and I'm gonna unleash it at exactly the right time, and I am gonna do those bastards really bad. Yeah, which is why this video may not go on YouTube because I think they've got wind of what I'm gonna do to them. I'm gonna vomit their shit right on video, probably at the park. But I believe that there should not be extremism anywhere, which is what you're saying. Is that the problem has been caused by the bloody British. Now, I'm talking about my culture here. We are the biggest bunch of wankers going sometimes. We were the biggest bunch of wankers in the First World War, and we went round promising the land to both sides. So, I can agree with you on that. I'm not going to get sort of slung out the protest for that.
Yeah. So,
but then the problem is what happened during the mandate and the creation of Israel. That's your problem. So your views on that are really interesting to me because
So let's hear your views on it then.
My views are that the borders of Israel need to be respected, and that
why shouldn't it go back to the initial borders?
What initial borders are you talking about?
The 1948 borders.
Right.
Agreement. Why should it not go back to that? Why should it be going back to what it is now?
Okay. Do you think that the Serbs would?
But we do know your channel is very biased. We do know that, and we don't know.
It's not biased. I'm giving you the opportunity to speak. What I'm telling
you, know you're biased, but it's
I'm
all
not
good.
biased.
We don't fear no one. We don't fear nothing.
I'm sure you don't.
So you can twist these words.
I'm not twisting anything. You can say. Do you want me to put the camera on you or not? So that was on me at the moment.
No, I'd rather not.
No, that's fine. But the thing is,
let's have a nice conversation.
Let's have a nice conversation because I don't want to fall out with you guys because you're you're
entitled to your opinion.
I prefer the company of non-British to the British because I'm sort of part Kiwi, part Irish. So I don't. I'm not someone who wants to come round and sort of piss you guys off.
Of course,
so I decided not to counter protest because I just didn't want to piss you off because you're deep down, you're nice people because you've got a point. You've got a fair point.
Well, what would be a counter protest?
Well, if I'd have got my Israeli flag out, you'd have gone nuts. Come on.
No, not really. I know Israelis. I know Jewish. Very good friends.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And I
But
think that
which
there are
don't
also...
ag-
There
which
are
don't
also
agree with
which
what
don't agree
Israelis
what's
do.
going on, what
Exactly.
Bibi's doing. Now, the problem is that there has to be a viable state. Now, I'll give you an example from New Zealand. Do you know why the North Island could never secede from the South Island? Because you would have a problem of power. Yeah? You know why the Golan Heights are strategic, because that's where the water supply comes from. And it's also militarily significant. There has been peace tried on several occasions, and every time it's the Arab side who's rejected it. What do you say to that?
No, they haven't. Who said that?
Look up your history.
Who said that? No, but what history you've written?
Well, the history is
What,
that
Wikipedia? What, Google? Go on and notes. We did everything right.
But wait a minute,
Believe
the Arab side rejected they rejected the 48 partition. That's a fact.
Sorry, what's the question?
Right, the 48 partition was
rejected
rejected by the Arabs.
Okay.
Because what they wanted was a unitary state.
Sure.
What was proposed was a two-state solution with economic union.
Do you know what the source is? I told you, bro. Have you seen the website?
No.
Yeah, I told you, bro.
Well, you don't believe everything you read on. You don't believe
that source. You know that website that. But I might make a website when I get home.
You could, but the thing, you can't believe everything.
Obviously, we're not going to be funded.
And can I also tell you,
just like his channel.
Now the other thing is, sir, and I'm not sucking up to you because I call any stranger sir until what's your name?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Okay, but what really?
Anyways, we're out. Anyway,
you're out.
Yeah.
It's lovely to talk to you.
We're not trying to manipulate people. Or
I'm not trying to manipulate shit,
man. I do
man.
hope you succeed in finding someone that says something wrong.
I'm going to bust Tommy Robinson.
You can edit it and just...
I'm going to bust his ass back. Yeah, what's that?
If you edit me out.
No, he's a dick. He's actually...
Yeah, but could you edit
You
me
actually...
out? You didn't record me, did you?
No, I haven't. His camera's been on me.
If you do,
if I do, I'll blur you.
Please.
Sure, yeah, sure. You've got the shades on.
Yeah, man. Have a good day, though, yeah?
Yeah, I'll get rid of it. Got to keep bloody stop doing this. Hi. Hey, I want to smash the far right, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not talking to me, okay, well, shame, innit? Do you want to smash the far right?
What's he written?
I want to fight bigotry as well.
Yeah, he and Elon Musk, you know, is those people that are playing God, you know.
Are you here with the protest or are you just passing by?
No, I came for the protest.
You came for the protest? You want to do an interview or are you kind of like, you're too shy, camera shy or
no.
camera's on me?
No.
So why have you come here today, sir? I'm James, how are you doing?
I came just to stop the war because I'm against the war in Ukraine, in Sudan, in Congo and in Palestine, and it's not fair, and as well Palestine we know is an occupied country, and as well
are you sure about that legally in terms of international law?
Wherever there's a UN resolution, so I'm supporting the UN.
Well, the UN resolution of 1949 supported the creation of the state of Israel.
And what about later 1940?
Free Palestine.
What? Quote me the one from 1940. You seem a very intelligent man, so go on.
Okay, for example, can some indigenous tribes come from the far east, from, for example, China, and claiming UK island is their island?
It's happened all the time. I mean,
is it? Do you agree with that?
Well, it's happened.
No, do you agree with that?
So what are you supposed to do? Chuckle?
Okay, if we got Chinese coming from the far there, for a reason, God created us from different languages. Different
we're not always nice to each other, are we? Come on.
No, nice to each other. We have to stand against oppression against the people who try to use people, divide people. Okay, some people believe on Christianity, in Judaism, in Islam. Some people they don't even believe in God. But there's common fact that people should live together on this.
Correct. I don't believe in any laws based on religion.
Okay.
I think it's a disaster if you start having laws.
Okay, for example, have you this answer for the what's the difference between the soul and the body? Have you got an
I
answer?
think there is a difference between the soul and the body.
Okay, what's the soul?
I'm personally a Christian, and I think I will have to make an account. Hello, sir. How are you doing? Hey, God bless you.
What's the fall in your definition?
Well, the fall is that we've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God.
Okay, the soul. Who's God?
The God.
The God, yeah. Who's
there's
the God?
There's either God or there's not. There is God.
If I want to give a definition to for example, a Hindu, and I want
they're a polytheist.
Okay, if I want to say to a Jewish, who's God?
Yahweh.
Who is God?
Well,
Who
Yahweh.
became first? Okay. Who came first? Jesus, Moses, or Muhammad?
Oh, that's a good.
So a good question is who came first?
Well, God came first.
Okay, I'm talking about those prophets. Don't be you a clever man as well. So just answer me. Who came first?
You believe Muhammad was a prophet then?
No, I'm just asking you before you throw a question. Who is Abraham? Who's older, Abraham or Jesus or Moses or Muhammad?
In the Bible, Abraham came before Jesus. Jesus was born in BC 5.
Okay.
But there again, because of the miraculous virgin birth, he's always
Jesus,
existed.
Indian or Chinese or white or?
Who?
Is Jesus?
He was Jew.
He was Jew. Okay. Moses then became before Jew.
Well, Moses was the one who received the law.
Moses, but I'm just saying a fact. Is he became before Jesus, before Isa? We tell him because we believe in Isa, we believe in Musa, we believe in.
So you are a
Abraham,
Muslim then? You are a Muslim?
Yes, I believe in prophets because
so you believe Muhammad was a prophet?
We've been asked to respect prophet, Moses, Abraham, even the father
You've
of
been
all
asked
prophets.
to respect, but you deny his divinity. That is I'm not.
Okay, in Quran there's a clear verse that's been وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُم. I think you should know this in Arabic. شُبِّهَ لَهُم. وما قتلوه وما صلبوه ولكن شبه لهم وما قتلوه وما صلبوه ولكن شبه لهم. My Arabic is my first language, so I hope people.
You're from the Sudan, are you?
I'm from Sudan. Yeah.
There you go. Good guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, from Sudan. Yeah.
Can I have marks out of 10 for guessing your nationality? There you go.
So
but the thing
that's
is
why I'm against the war in Ukraine, in Palestine, in Congo, in Sudan, and it's all, and even against this Khartoum process. I think you're clever. You know what's Khartoum process?
The where?
Khartoum process, where European country, including UK, they liaised with the oppressor, with all killing armed militias to stop immigrants.
Look, we screwed the whole region up by promising it to both sides. This is what the British do. I am anti-British. I mean, I could stand on that post and say, down with the British for doing the Balfour Declaration, down with the British for basically, no, not for the Balfour Declaration, but for running around the Middle East, promising it to the Arabs and then promising it to the Zionists. Because which is British dirty diplomacy. Because what we did was that we then created a civil war. And that's what we do.
And how we can stop this?
I am being very kind of generous to you, and I am being very honest because I call a spade a spade. I'm also from Yorkshire heritage,
and how can we stop this?
We just call a spade a spade. But
and how can we stop this injustice?
The problem you guys have,
you're referring
and
to
I'm not, is that the British, the French, and the Russians fought the Central Powers, which included the Ottoman Empire. And this is too long for a history of the 1800s, but the British and the French fought the Russians to stop the Russians going down and taking too much of Turkey. Because prior to the First World War, what was causing instability was the breakup of the Ottoman Empire. And we were going, oh, tally-ho, what do we do with this? So we went, tally-ho. We don't want the Balkans happening here. Oh, tally-ho, tally-ho. So then someone shot some dude in Sarajevo, the Archduke Ferdinand, bang, off he goes. Oh, crap, there's a war on. Then the Ottomans joined the side of Austria and Germany. Now, the problem with the Austrian and the the Austrian and the Ottoman Empire is that they were both very weak empires. So we went round with Lawrence of Arabia, tally-ho, tally-ho, tally-ho. We went to the leader of the... We went to the middle... We went tally-ho, tally-ho. You can have your pan-Arabic state, tally-ho, tally-ho. And then we went to the Zionists and said, well, because the Zionist movement was underway, and we said, tally-ho, tally-ho, you can move here when the war's over. So we completely... We caused this as a country, and I feel, as someone who is British, ashamed of this history. I think it is one of our worst screw-ups.
So
we had some success ups. It was a total screw-up.
The whole of Europe.
Yes, but then you have to, and this is where you're not going to like this, it is a matter of fact that the League of Nations agreed to the mandate, and you need to read that mandate.
Arab nation, you mean?
Well, look, you do know that the Signs Pinoc, or whatever it's called, was basically the British general, tally-ho, tally-ho, sitting down with the French, ooh la la, and they sat down over dinner and a glass of vino and said, oh, let's tally-ho, let's have Syria, let's draw Iraq. Now, if we, let's tell you,
families in this world of line.
I'll tell you what your racist British guy, who's down the park, and I'm going for them tomorrow.
Yeah.
What they went was tally-ho, tally-ho, let's create Iraq, tally-ho, tally-ho, which Churchill admitted in so many words was a country that, unless you had an out-and-out dictator, would end up at war with itself, because you had the Iran-Iraq war. The Middle East is not exactly your most kind of stable part of the world. So what we did is the fault line of the problem was in 1916. However, it is now 2025, not 1925, and you have to accept the facts that the international community set up the mandate for Palestine. You have to accept that the United Nations, under some pressure from the Americans, because by this time the Americans had stepped in as top dog. Hey guys, you get the hell out, you limey bastards. They went, we support Israel, that is your problem.
Okay.
And I'm being fairly neutral in that.
But the thing is that how we can, help stopping oppression. For example, the Kurdish.
Like stop taking hostages.
I mean like the Kurdish unfairly being divided in 4 countries.
Oh, exactly. They're everywhere.
So that, which is, So,
it's like a sort of thing. You've got the Kurds don't have a state. I mean, you look at... You go on YouTube, because I get bored. All the people who, the Basques, they seem to have calmed down a bit. The problem is how do you find a peace now? Because there were people.
Yeah, this is the big question.
And the big question is that, and this is where I'm being very cordial, is that these protests do not acknowledge that both sides caused problems.
Okay, but anyhow...
I understand that people had to flee their homes, but so did Jewish people from Arab countries.
Don't you think the two-state solution is not a solution? Because I do believe in the two-state solution, which is...
How is that going to work then? If you agree with the Sutta, how is that going to work?
That's why we have to do our homework to convince people to live together in peace.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I want. I want to live in peace, man.
That's why it's hard. It's not easy. And many establishments won't let you even engage in this, but it's a hard struggle. But this is a choice. So when we choose peace, we know it's not like a picnic, isn't it? So
no, it's not like a picnic. You can't.
We have to
engage. You cannot solve this problem with some simple chanting.
You need the momentum, you need the awareness, and then as long you're genuine about the peace and people can live together.
Oh, I'm genuine about being upset.
No, not you. I'm not talking me and you. I'm not talking you in one side and me on one side. I'm talking now. We're talking this peace language, me and you.
Yeah.
Which it need more, and even generation, maybe even your grand son will succeed. So it's like a build up for this. It's not going to be easy. Many wealthy people, wealthy nations will try to impose their own view, and I don't want people to come together. So coming together is like the first step, and believing in one God, which is peace. I
Which
don't
is really important, and that
Yeah.
one God is Jesus Christ.
It's okay. All right. For example, how many gods or how many believers around the world?
But the trouble is, I'll tell you what the problem with the bloody British and the French and the Italians is we went round with bloody swords with Jesus Christ. You know, this is. Shall I tell you the biggest arsehole down at Speaker's Corner?
Yeah.
And this is why I wanted to pick up a thing to smash the far right. It's called Bob the Builder. He is a complete wanker. He is a cultural nationalist by admission. I think he's a closet racist. I mean, you do have to laugh.
Okay.
But he wants to start another crusade. Now, I'm thinking, Bob, why don't you come here with a little sign, crusade to the Middle East, sign up now? He would either get mobbed by you buggers or he would get laughed at. And now I would go for the laughing at because he's an absolute tool. And what he does,
freedom of speech, we should always.
What he does with the he debated someone on Sunday. You can watch this on YouTube. He's a total coward because he won't even talk to me because I will destroy him in about 5 minutes. And the problem is that he has got the cart before the horse. What you believe in is your personal choice that shouldn't affect anybody else. What he wants is blood on the streets.
Okay, can me and you agree that
Sure, yeah.
to defend his right of
He's got
speech.
a right of free speech. But
Yes,
with speech comes responsibility.
And then, come responsibility. That's why even me and you, when we work toward this, even with him, both of us, if we don't agree with him or her, or whatever the title is, by providing this space and this assurance, we will succeed even if we don't have Rome wasn't built in a day. So by giving this like a health environment for talk, for debates, for example, you can smash him in 5 minutes, but you need to work hard for this platform where people can come and he himself feel the confidence. That
I don't think he wants to talk. I think he's got a very what he does. He sort of his historical analysis is absolutely shocking.
He don't want to engage.
But the thing is, he debated someone who I saw the guy heckling him.
Yeah.
I saw what he was heckling about, and then I left Bob alone. Because what I do with Bob is I say, Bob, why won't you debate me on your false Bible teaching, which basically you can't justify in the Bible because there is no mandate whatsoever. In fact, the opposite, for Christians to go around building nations. That's my problem with Bob. That's it. And but it's what flows from that is the problem. You see, that's why I always object to people going, this is a Christian nation. Well, it's not now, and it never should have been described as such, because I believe that if we all have laws that are voted for by Parliament, that was the settlement of the 1920s, 30s, we have universal suffrage, blah, 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 blah. But with this particular issue is that what this side is doing more than the other is making it sound a lot more simplistic than it actually is. It's not as simple.
We need to
no one came along.
Deeper dialogue,
no one came along stealing people's land.
Do you mean we need to involve in deeper dialogue or having?
Yes, I think there needs to be. I think there needs to be dialogue because the thing is, these guys are scared. These guys are scared, and I've come up to stand up for them because they're human beings and they're nice people.
Always dialogue will success.
Dialogue's good.
Just got like less than 10 minutes from my parking thing, so it's great to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you too.
Thank you very much.
Do you live in Oxford or?
I live in Oxford.
I'm just visiting, but it's just like you. Dialogue is always good. Dialogue is much better.
Yeah, at least we come to an agreement.
I tell you what, I freaked the copper out when I said I've got 2 Israeli flags on me.
Okay then.
Sir, I want to smash the far right, by the way. I'm not joking, I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to do it. I've got the means to do it. Yeah, you don't. I've got the means to discredit large parts of that movement, including... I will do, yes, I will do. You have a nice day. Well, we got out of that okay. You should always carry your Israeli flag with you. Loud and proud. This is what I'm doing. I'm just going through town, get the Israeli flag out.
Everyone should be looking good.
Maybe should take up boys. So, we love the flag of Israel. Shalom, shalom, Israel. Shalom, 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 the Israel. Shalom, 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 la Israel. Shia, shalom. Shia, shalom, shalom. Shia, shalom. Shia, shalom. Shia, shalom. Give it